Well, hello everyone. My name is Sean Simons.
And I'm Brian Tyler.
And we're going to debunk this crazy thing called the Mandela effect. Matter of fact, most people are calling it MEs for the Mandela effect. Have you heard about this?
I have.
It's pretty interesting. It's all about tricking the minds and these mind games. And we're going to debunk this mind game because that's all it is. It's a mind game, right?
It is. Yep.
Absolutely. Let's start off real quick. We'll start off with this one right here. Everyone that is old enough to remember, was it?
Snow White.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Everyone knows that when you look on the wall, you say, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Correct?
Yep. That's
all
it.
right. Guess what? It's not. Yep,
No.
It's not. It's magic mirror on the wall. And you'll be like, no, it's mirror, mirror. Go look at your old Disney stuff, even
old VHS.
The VHS.
Yep.
It's been misquoted for such a long time that it's ingrained in your mind that it's mirror, mirror on the wall because it flows a little bit better. All it is when you're misquoting, it flows better to the general public.
Do you know that the actual original version, Snow White and the Huntsman, does say mirror, mirror? So I think it does have an origin. Mirror, mirror has an origin.
That is true, and it does flow better. So
Yeah.
when you're remaking something, you're not going to remake it where it's not flowing right. You're going to make it to where it's like, it's what the general population for years likes better. So you're
Right.
going to put what likes better. So it's magic mirror on the wall. However, mirror, mirror flows better. All right, let's go to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Wait,
beautiful day in the neighborhood. No,
that's not how it goes.
of course it is, because that's the way it flows.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
This neighborhood.
Yeah,
No.
that's it.
Once again, yes, it is. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. But everyone's like, no. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
No, it just sounds better.
It just flows so much better in our regular, everyday speech. That's why people will change it in their mind to the, because it just sounds
You have a
better.
great singing voice, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, I got one for you.
Yeah.
Luke, I am
I'm
your
your father. Misquote?
You know, I'm a little divided about this one, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
The official is, no, I am your father.
Right.
Which actually makes sense, because Luke is explaining to him what Obi-Wan had told him.
Right.
And Darth Vader's like, no, you got it wrong. I am your father. You know, so that makes sense. However, James...
My father killed and betrayed him, or whatever, right? No, I'm your father.
Your memory's perfect. It's
Yeah.
infallible. No, I'm
I
joking.
know, right?
No, but there were two separate interviews that James Earl Jones gave about remembering reading the line.
Right.
And he distinctly says in both recants, in both interviews, separate interviews,
Right.
he goes, I remember when I read, Luke, I am your father. And he goes, he's lying. I wonder how they're going to play this lie out. So he remembers the line as Luke, I am your father. So that's kind of creepy.
Interesting.
But anyway, yeah.
I know, right? Field of Dreams. If you build it,
They will come.
right.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come.
Of course.
They will come. The
Right.
crowds will come. The
Right.
baseball players will
Right.
come. They will come.
No. If you build it, he will come.
Well, who the hell is he?
Right. That doesn't make sense in our everyday normal speech pattern. So we're not going to say if you build it, he will come. If you build it, they will come. It's just one of those things that flows better. So it's
Now,
been misquoted for such a long time that people think that was the actual quote.
He can make sense in a certain context. He's trying to draw James Earl Jones back to the baseball field. If
The
you
actual
build it,
James Earl, right?
and it's not about the crowds and the ghost baseball players. It's about bringing him back to
Right.
to allow him to play baseball again, to live his dream.
So it's not a Mandela effect. We're not going into some parallel universe.
Quantum computing, parallel universe,
Right.
writing.
It's
Yeah.
strictly, it doesn't flow right. You say it wrong. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Of course.
Right?
You never know what you're going to get.
Right.
Maybe a Mandela effect. You
Right.
never know.
Well, wait a minute. That's also been misquoted too, hasn't it?
What do you mean?
Life is not like a box of chocolates.
You know, it could have been, life was like a box of chocolates, but that's absurd.
Right, but that's the actual quote. Life was like a box
Okay,
of chocolates.
that one I can't let go. I'm sorry.
Are you serious?
Matter of fact, if you find one of the old VHSs, on the back of the box, it actually says, "Life is like a box of chocolates," the famous quote.
Because it flows better, it makes more sense to the human psyche, and because humans are used to patterns, like patterns in speech. We don't say life was, we say life is all the time. So that's a normal pattern in speech that you would say. So you would misquote it on accident because that's a pattern that people use. Life is like a box of chocolates.
Well, the Illuminati changed it through quantum computing to tell people that life is no longer like a box of chocolate. Life was like a box of chocolate.
Okay.
Now you know what you're going to get. So
Right, all right.
Joking. Anyway.
Dirty Harry. All right. Do you feel lucky today, punk?
That doesn't sound right.
What sounds right?
Let me ask you a question.
That one's been misquoted for a long time.
We got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. All right. There's a long song of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. When they have to do their 30-second intro, they chop up a lot. Matter of fact, they have a 1-minute intro also. So if you watch that 1-minute intro to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it doesn't sound like the one that we listened to and repeated and sung every time we watched it back in the day. So that's a longer version being shrunk to here, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that's like, what? That doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It's strictly because of the editing thing.
I mean, when I first heard it, I was blown away.
I know.
But then I saw the comments. Oh, this is just a
Right.
non-chopped version. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. Totally misquoted. That's not what they said. You'll have to check that one out.
And the Scarecrow.
And the Scarecrow.
Always had a gun.
Always had a gun. So if you watch, wait a minute, and they're like, what? What?
They all had something, a net, a gun, an axe. I mean, why is the tin can, why are people not freaking out that he had an axe? Everybody had something.
The tin can?
Tin can man.
But yeah,
Tin man.
The Scarecrow had a gun.
Tin can. See, that's how bad our memories are.
So check that out too, yeah. Always had a gun. It's just one of those things. Oh, Chick-fil-A. How do you spell Chick-fil-A?
You misspell it because the cows, they like to misspell the word, so
Right.
Chick-fil-A itself is misspelled.
But the actual way that it's spelled is spelled correctly with the hyphens. But the cows misspelled it so many times that's what we think it is because of the cow commercials. Right. It's not because we think that the cows are spelling it correctly. They're not. They're cows. They can't spell. That's cute. Just like
eat more chicken.
Just like cats, they can't spell either. That's why they're so cute because they misspell words on memes. Ribs, okay. You have floating ribs. Everyone has floating ribs. They've always had floating ribs, but people think that the anatomy has changed because now there's ribs that are not attached. They're always attached. And then if you do like an X-ray. Here's your sternum, but connected to the actual bone itself is cartilage. So the cartilage doesn't really show up in X-rays. So people are like, "Oh my God, anatomy's changed. Our ribs only go up to here. Now these are just floating over here." The anatomy is the same. Don't worry about it.
What would happen if those bottom ribs were connected?
We wouldn't have the range of motion that we have.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those things that if it was connected, we would not have survived this long. So thank God we have floating ribs. Any other ones?
There are plenty of other examples on the internet. There's just overflowing with examples that are coming out.
And they play all sorts of mind games on you. Matter of fact, go to that show, Mind Games, and watch that.
Yeah, no.
What?
It's Brain Games.
What's Mind Games?
No. It's Brain Games.
It's
the TV show where they show you illusions and stuff and how it tricks you.
It's always been Mind Games.
It's Brain Games.
You gotta look it up.
All right, we gotta look this up. Brain Games, dude.